Hi, everybody.
Okay.
Okay, welcome
Here.
to Knits and Pieces. We're here. Just if someone could let us know whether you can see us and hear us before we get started. My name is Noelle. I was going to say Kelly, and I'm like, no, you're not Kelly. Anyway, my name is Noelle, I'm pretty sure. And this is my friend,
Kelly.
Kelly.
Kelly's got the giggles.
So, yeah, we were chatting before. Anyways, we're here. We're coming to you from Southwestern Ontario. It was nice and sunny today, still a little cool, but that's okay because I'm still enjoying knitting the woolly things. So I'm okay with that. It's just nice to see the sun.
I'm enjoying
It's
wearing the woolly
amazing.
things because it is cold today. The sun is out. It's beautiful weather, but if you are anywhere where the wind is catching you, it's cold. I came
Yeah, and
home. We turned the heat off in the house on the weekend.
yeah.
Thought we wouldn't need it anymore. The house is cold. I was cold. I was going to wear a new sweater, friends, but I decided to wear something warm that I could get a long sleeve t-shirt under. I was cold. So,
Anyway, we're up by, like, I live up near the bridge that we knit under, and if there's any type of a breeze coming off the water at this
it's
time of
cold.
year, it's cold. It's cold because we were, even yesterday, there was actually first thing in the morning, there was quite a bit of fog because you get that if the air's been a little warm and then you get that breeze off the lake and then you get fog. And it was funny because Rachel was telling me today, Molly had school yesterday, and she goes on the bus and it's like first, well, I think she gets on the bus around 8 o'clock, right? And Molly's, quite chatty and quite, so she said to the bus driver, she said, "Are you okay driving in this fog?" So
She's such a doll. She's so
she
concerned
is.
about everybody.
She is. So anyway, so he told her it was fine. He was good. So
Hi, Mary.
yeah.
Mary's waving at us.
Hi, Mary. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
Oh,
everybody.
Cindy said, "Nice hairdo." Thanks. Thanks, Cindy. It makes me look taller. Maybe not when I'm sitting. Uh-oh, my yarn's falling. It's stacked up here. Anyway, thank you. It does. I do feel taller when I have this. Till I look in a mirror, standing beside Kelly, and then I realize it's not working.
I had a lot of fun working on the little thumbnail picture that I put up for us today. And it was from a picture. What I had to do was cut the picture in half because we were sitting too far apart and I wanted us closer together. So I cut the picture in half, removed the background, but it was really fun because for a moment I was sitting here giggling. I made you much bigger and taller than me. And I thought, this is what
You
we
should have
have to
left that.
do.
You should have left that. And yes, Irene, I am going to wear this to Chicago, and I'm going to get measured against Joyce.
Yes. Yeah. You
I'm going
might
to
have a
try and make
fighting
it
chance.
even higher. So
Okay,
anyway,
so we should say that we are a mostly knitting podcast. We are not a weather
yes,
channel.
or a
Our
hairstyle channel.
hairstyle channel. We are a mostly knitting channel, but if you have found your way here tonight, welcome. We promise there will be knitting. There will be lots of
There will
talk
be.
about knitting, and
Yep.
there'll be some giggles along the way. So I hope you enjoy that too. If you are returning and if you've been around with us for a while, welcome back to our KnitChat Cafe. This is our virtual coffee shop where we get to hang out with all of our knitty friends on Tuesday evenings for a little over an hour, and it's the highlight of our week. No guff. That's for
It
true.
is for
That's
sure.
for
That's right.
true, as
That's
the
right.
kids would say.
So,
For true.
so I see there's lots of people in here, and I was looking through. There's people from all over, like people from Australia, New Zealand, lots of places in the States, lots of places in Canada, and welcome everybody. We're glad to have you join us. Um, yeah, it's so nice to see people from all over, and like it's just unbelievable because I mean, 20 years ago, you would have never had this. You would have never been able to connect with this many people. 20 years ago, it was hard enough to connect with the relatives who even lived like overseas.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
We are
anyway,
blessed. This is
we
a
are.
fantastic opportunity that we have been, I will say, given. I don't know. Given's not the right word, but definitely this community that all of you are a part with us is, we feel very blessed to be a part of it
Yeah.
as well. So
Yeah. And I do. I love seeing the fact that people are in here chatting about things before we even get in here.
tailgate partying.
So it is. It is.
Kathy
So
says Texas is in the house, Colorado Rockies,
yeah.
Port Elgin, Ontario.
We just need to do we just need to do a tour around, Kelly, and visit everybody.
We are doing a tour. Remember on our cork raft? If any of you have been around long enough for that.
Tour. I mean a real tour, not on a real cork raft.
Okay, but we are doing a bit of a tour because you did go to New Zealand. You met some of our
Yes.
friends there.
Yep.
I traveled to BC regularly. I've met friends there. We are going to Montreal
We are.
next weekend. We will meet some
Yep.
friends there. We've been to Chicago. We're getting there.
Yep.
We're
Yep.
getting
And
to a few
I'm
places.
going out east in September, out to
That's
Eastern
right.
Canada.
You are. Mhm.
Yep. So
And
anyway, so
Asheville in North Carolina. That's someplace that we have to go. I've been,
yes, we do.
and
Isn't
you
that
need to
where
go
the
too.
is it Black Mountain?
Black
Black
Mountain
Mountain Yarn Shop?
Yarn Shop. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. On to some things.
Okay.
Do you want to talk
Where
about?
do you want to start?
Let's start with. Okay, well, let's start with what we're wearing, but then let's cycle back to questions because I've got some things sitting here that we need to deal with.
I have a couple of questions too. Okay. Okay.
So what we're wearing.
What we're wearing. Okay. I'll go first. I am wearing the Cravat by Caitlin Hunter, and I would knit this sweater again in a minute. I'll just bring up a picture here. I loved everything about making it. Feels like it just flew off my needle. So there's a picture of the front shop. So it's kind of a little bit cropped. And there's the back. It kind of fits, well, at least mine fits close to your body because I actually haven't like wet blocked it yet. Because it just fits like nice. It kind of snugs into your body because the way it's done, it's kind of like ribbed. So you get that stretch. It was a joy to knit. Like the tops got some little rows of color work that have got some little baubles in them. And then when you get down into the body, you're still in pattern and there's baubles through it. So this was done in Nurturing Fibers, which I got when I was in New Zealand visiting Lisa from Unwind and Knit With Me. And the two colors are, this color is Aged Leather, and then the pink is Cherry Blossom. And I used almost the full 2 skeins of the Aged Leather, but like maybe 20 grams of the Cherry Blossom. So I still got some of that. It is 100% merino, super twist merino. So you actually could do socks with it, even though there's no nylon in it. But because of the high twist in it, you actually could do socks in it. And like I said, I would definitely do this pattern again. It was a joy to knit. And then on my ears, these are my earrings that Jillian made us last year when we were in Montreal. We met her and Jolynn when we first got there in the lobby, and they were wearing earrings, and we just gushed about how much we liked them. And she said, well, here's some colors, pick some and I'll make some for you. And we had them by the next morning. But they just go perfectly with this top because they've got pink and they've got the tanny color in them. So yeah, Ross just looked at me when I came down and went, what? And I'm like, well, I like them. So.
Well, I mean, they have a time and a place. I don't know that I would.
like them.
Yeah.
They go with this sweater.
They do. Definitely with hand knits. And definitely when we're talking about knitty things, they definitely were a hit at Knit City Montreal last year. And I got some as well. Mine might match my new sweater. I haven't pulled them out in a little bit. They might. So, okay. I'm wearing the Miserina, also by Caitlin Hunter. And this is so funny because we talk about this week after week. We never discuss what we are going to wear. And I went upstairs tonight after work to get ready. And I was thinking, what will Noelle wear tonight? And we will either end up wearing either the same color, the same style of sweater, or the same designer, something very similar. I could probably count on one hand the amount of times that we've shown up in something that is uncoordinated.
Totally opposite.
Yes.
That's right.
And I was thinking, well, tonight she's probably going to think that I'm wearing my new sweater because it's newly finished, but it was a little chilly to wear that. So I thought, you know what? I'm not going to have too many more opportunities to pull on the long sleeve t-shirt with a sweater. So I'm going to wear this one more time. And this one, very much like your Cravat, was one of my all-time favorite sweaters to make. I love the, get my hair out of the way for you. I love this lace detail across the top of the yoke, this little bit of color work. I don't mind the long floats. I know that when you made this sweater, you did a ladder back pattern. I didn't do that. I just let the floats run free. And I love this sweater. So it is quite, it's fairly cropped. So I just have it on over a long sleeve t-shirt. I wear it with dresses. It's not something that I would normally wear with jeans because I do find it's too cropped for that, but I like it with dresses and not in pajama pants tonight, but I do have leggings on. So I'll admit that it's fun. And it's been one of my favorite, one of the favorite sweaters that I've made. So the yarn is Leo and Roxy, this green pistachio. I think it was actually called pistachio. I'm pretty sure it's a discontinued color now, but I love the little flecks of the dark brown in it. And then the pattern work is Fedora in Knit Pick Stroll. Choke on that, sorry.
So Sarah says she's working on her Miserina too, and I saw her. She was working on it on Friday when I went to Knit Night at Little Red Mitten. So isn't it a great pattern, Sarah? Like I know you and I have talked about this before, but it's another one of the patterns like this where it feels like it just flies off your needles.
Well, it's like singing to you the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
it has
I would
little,
definitely
right, because it has cables in between the color work too. So that was just, it's just like little details like that aren't on, you know, it's not like a normal colorwork sweater. There's a whole bunch of little fun extras in there to really hold our attention. And I love your sweater too. When I saw it, when you came back from New Zealand and you had the clip filmed with Lisa, I was like, I don't know what that sweater is yet, but I'm going to find out and I'm going to make it. And before I even had a chance to tell you that, you said, oh, I've got yarn for that sweater. And here you are, it's already made and on you. So it's beautiful.
Well, you've got I would even do one of these in long sleeved.
Yes, absolutely.
Like for the winter. And your Miserina is short sleeved. Mine is long sleeved. I would do a short sleeved one for the summer.
I always say I would do patterns again. I haven't done outside of the ranunculus, lost the word there. Outside of the ranunculus, I've never repeat a sweater pattern yet, but it's kind of like places that we stay. You know, you go somewhere, you say, oh, I love this place. I'd totally stay here again. Chances are you don't go back. There's so many places in the world to see. You want to keep going to different places, but I would definitely knit this sweater again. I enjoyed every single minute of it.
Yep. Yep. I have some sweaters that I've done again, like the Friday tee.
Well, yes, but that's kind of sample knitting. So you haven't knit multiples for yourself. But the love note, I guess I've done that multiple times.
Yep. I've done a couple of love notes, a couple of ranunculus. But yeah, I don't know about anything else. But I would do these two. I would even do it like for one of my girls because I just really enjoyed the knit.
Yeah, it's a beautiful pattern.
But
okay.
So now we should go and answer some questions.
Yes.
So do you want to start?
Yes, but I hope you kind of have an answer to help out with too. Let me just mark that down.
Okay.
Okay. So somebody had asked the other day, what was the name of this little tool?
Oh.
I don't know the name of the tool, but I brought it along to show.
I'm here too.
There you go. Okay. So this is a hand-turned wooden tool with a little post on the end of it, and you can use it to tighten your needles.
Your interchangeable needles.
Your interchangeable needles. I love this tool. This is way better than, so typically with interchangeable sets, you get the little T-pins, you know, to tighten with. Sometimes they're kind of small, right? So it's nice to have something that has a significant handle on it that you can get a good grip on. And these were gifted to us from our friends at Elgin Knitworks. And I believe it's somebody that they know that makes them, and they don't always have them in stock. But what's it called?
I thought it was maybe Betsy's husband. Well, they just said lost that little tool, a cord key. Elgin Knitworks cord key. So, and I mean, that's so much easier to find when you're looking for it than just the little T-pins that come in your packages with your interchangeable cords. So, you know,
I still managed to lose it on the regular.
I sometimes do too. And then the other thing is when you're tightening your needles, like not just this, but a lot of times it helps if you've got one of those little rubber grips. I looked for one of mine, and of course I couldn't find it offhand.
Oh,
But different companies make them, and we've also discussed different options on here too, where you can just, if you've got one of those thick elastic bands, like just kind of hold on to one part of the needle, have your key in, and it gives you enough grip that you can really tighten it up so that it's not going to come undone when you're knitting with it. So, and doing that, and actually a lot of the times when I use this and I'm on the bigger needles, I find the tightening usually stays. But when you're on those little Chai Goose that come in the red package with the little skinny cord, I find I need to use the grip on that to get them tightened up so that they stay done up.
So that they stay.
So,
yes.
Yeah. But that really does help.
Also, if you are looking, if you can't get this through Betsy's store, you can also research the Lantern Moon needles, because they have a similar cord key that comes with their interchangeable cables. So I tried to get my hands on one. I found a few places in Canada that sells it, but unfortunately for me, the shipping was going to end. By the time I paid the shipping, it was going to cost me nearly $30 for a cord. But I really did try to get one of these because I thought that this would be, useful to keep in more than one bag.
Yeah.
So.
And some people have other suggestions in here. For instance, Stacy says she uses the elastic bands that come off the broccoli. Yes. So those are usually like thicker. And then Becky says she just uses the rubber jar opener. So there's lots of ways that you can really get a good grip on that and get your needles tightened up, because there's nothing more annoying than when your needle comes undone when you've got like this many stitches on it. And
mine didn't come undone the other day, but I was working along and all of a sudden it was like the stitches were getting stuck, and I'm like, what's going on? And on closer inspection, my cord was coming unscrewed. So
Martha wants to know if the cord key can be used on both small and larger. I haven't found any that it hasn't fit in, but there is the small hole on your needles that's for putting a lifeline through. It's not going to fit in that, but it will go in the one that you use to tighten it. So
anyway, we like this tool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Someone had commented, we had talked last week that you were thinking of doing the Salty RT in linen quill.
I am.
And there were some comments that the linen quill may not necessarily be as soft as it feels when you're knitting with it, when you go to wear it. So they had suggested that you do a little swatch, put it in your bra, wear it around, and see whether it's itchy. I don't know if anybody else has any type of experience with the linen quill and how it feels. I know a lot of people do the half and half wrap with it.
Yes.
But most likely with the half and half wrap, you're wearing it over top of another garment. So it's not directly touching your skin. So, I mean, I wouldn't be a good judge because I'm pretty tough.
Old elephant skin over there.
That's right. That's right. I don't find that. I usually find that I can wear Briggs and Little, or sometimes I have to be careful with alpaca. Sometimes I'll find it a little bit. But
really? Okay. So so here's the ball of linen quill that I was talking about last week. And if you look here, like you can see these little, there's one sticking out there, like these little fibers. Yeah. And I'm guessing is it the flax, the hemp? It's
something that's in the linen, like
it's the kind of thing that makes me want to keep pulling them out, obsessively pulling them out. So that's not a good thing. Just leave them in there. But I don't know if there's another one. I don't know. That's two. Okay, don't touch it. I don't know if this will bother me on my skin. Like it does. It feels pretty soft. Typically, I will admit that if I'm going to do the Salty RT, for example, I'm planning to make that to wear over top of a linen dress, likely. Okay. Because I would make that in a cropped version. So it's probably going to be over something else, except for kind of just, like around my arms anyway.
Right.
That tends to be the tougher part. So, I will probably be okay unless it's like something going on at the neck. If it's not soft at the neck, that might irritate me. I don't know. Marnie Lee says that she didn't find it itchy at all, and she's made a top out of it. And I know that a lot of people have knit garments out of the linen quill. So maybe it needs like a wash or two. But I mean, it does
Well,
feel soft in the cake.
Joanne said that she finds that it feels a little prickly when she gets hot in it. And
Fair
I've
enough.
heard other
Fair
people
enough.
say that about different fibers as well, that as long as you weren't overheating in it, that the feel of the fabric was fine. But once you started to get a little bit warm, that sometimes then you could feel the prickliness in the yarn.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but most of the time, a sweater, even a sweater like this, or any type of a knit sweater, unless it's knit out of like cotton or linen, on the hottest days of the year, I'm not wearing it anyway.
No.
So, and yeah, a lot of people do say that it does soften, and a lot of ones do soften as you knit them. And then a lot of people have tried, especially on some of the more rustic type yarns like Briggs and Little, actually using a hair conditioner
Mm-hmm.
on them to try and help soften them up a bit. But
Yeah. But I think
and
it's a lot like linen. Like when I buy linen to sew with it, I wash it before I even start to sew with it. I wash it and dry it on hot temperatures too, 3 times. And then I make the garment and then I throw it right back in the laundry again before I wear the garment. So I do find that, you know, with linen, the more you wash it, the better, the more wearable and softer it gets.
yeah.
So,
Okay. Did you have any other questions?
yeah. So I mentioned last week what I use for my blocking wires, and then I had gotten it at an auto store. And somebody asked me a question, could I show this? So I definitely can. So this is what I got. This is my container. This is what it is. It is 1 pound of 1/16 of an inch diameter stainless steel welding rods. So I'll show that up there. Let me see. There we go. And I bought these at Princess Auto in Canada. I think it was $8. Now, what I'll do, I'm sorry, I've got a throat clearing thing going on tonight. I apologize. I will show you one the way it comes, and then I'll show you one that my husband finished up for me. So, without losing them all, sorry. So when it comes out of the tube, it has this flattened edge on there. You can see it. So all that he did was he cut that off just below there. And then he put it on his grinder, or you could use sandpaper. And he did this for me. So you can see how nice and round that edge is. I know it's a very fine thing to see, but anyway, so this will never pick my knitting. And so by the time he's cut the ends off, it's a little bit less than 36 inches, but I have a whole tube of them.
Yeah.
And I even had him cut some of them in half for me so that I had shorter pieces too. So I have lots that are in there that are all different lengths, and they're super flexible.
Yeah.
So you can pin them any which shape that you need to. And I like the price.
Find a little bit shorter length is easier to work with than a great big long one, because then you're only trying to get so much of it on at once, right? And you can always add more pieces on. So
yeah, it's so easy to, and because also it's sort of like playing pool in a room that's too tight when you have these long cords and you're banging.
Yeah,
and bumping into
exactly. That's
things.
right.
So
Exactly.
this is nice and easy to work with. And like I said, they're so flexible. I love it. Like, especially even if you're doing like a crescent shaped shawl or something like that, you can just put this through the edge of your shawl and then you can create the arc with that.
Yep.
They're just really easy to use. I use them for sweaters along with my pool noodles. I've used them, well, really for anything, mostly for shawls, shawls, when you want like a sharp line on that. But yeah, they're so much less expensive than a kit of shawl blockers. And like I said, I don't know how many pieces were in there, but it's a whole pound. So there's probably 30, 35 pieces. And yes, Sarah, he just used his grinder for that. It just took him like a couple of seconds on each end for me. There you go. So if anybody's nearby me and they need some, just let me know. I've got lots extra in there. All right. Did you have anything else?
Yeah, this wasn't a question, but I thought I'd show this because we've talked about before that we use scales, but we've never really showed it. This is probably like my favorite one. So it's just a little like I don't even think it's a food scale because it's too little. Like you wouldn't put anything on it. So this is like a lot of times, especially like I always seem like I'm sometimes using yarn to the last and want to use the last little bit. So you want to weigh. So this one actually weighs into hundredths of a gram. So you just can, like, let's say you're getting towards the end, you know that you can only do so many rows. You can actually like weigh your yarn, knit a couple of rows, weigh the yarn, and then you get a good idea of how much yardage, not yardage, but how many grams you're using for each row. So it gives you a good idea of how much you're going to need to finish. So I find that I do use that quite a bit. I was using that when I was finishing up the Friday tee because I did have more yarn, but I really didn't want to go into the next skein if I didn't have to, because I knew it would be easier for Leo and Roxy to package up the kits if there was only like one skein of each color used. So, and I did still have lots, but I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't have weighed it out. So this one, I know someone said it does look like a drug scale. I know I don't take this on vacation with me when I go to Mexico. Don't want to answer any of the questions that's got anything to do with that, because I'm not sure they believe it was for knitting. So, but it really is a perfect tool. And especially if like a lot of people wind their stock yarns into 2 equal cakes.
Yes.
So then you've got something to weigh it on. So
a scale is
anyway, and I just got that off Amazon. So
yeah, the little scales are generally like less than $20.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to have one though. You do.
Yeah.
It's very useful.
And it is actually, like we talk about this sometimes too, and a lot of times I do forget, but it is actually a good idea when you're making something to actually weigh your cake before you even start, because a lot of times the cake weighs more. Sometimes it weighs less. I have had that, but I mean, it's good to know that. And even if you're figuring out yardage, if you plan to do something again in the future, it's a good idea to know how much you started with to really get an accurate amount of,
yeah, of course,
weight that you actually use, especially when you're putting that information onto Ravelry and other people are looking at it. So, you know, and especially with your Holst cakes, because a lot of the Holst cakes weigh a lot more than
a lot more than they say
500
they do.
grams. So if you're just
cones,
saying, okay,
Holst cones, sorry.
Or cones, yes. If you're just saying, you know, I knit my whole sweater and now I'm going to weigh my cone, and you're just subtracting it from that 500 grams, it's going to look like you used a whole lot less than you did, because most likely you started off with quite a bit more. So
yeah, they're very generous with their cones, very generous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody, just going back to the wires, somebody says also, like, and where do you store these long wires? Luckily for those, they come in that handy dandy tube, and it has this rubber top, and the top even has a hole in it. So I have a pegboard down here, and I can just hang it on that. So they always stay together. Okay. All right. What's next?
Finished objects.
Oh, finished objects.
Yes. Kelly, do you have any?
I do. I'm so excited.
Okay.
I have 2, but I can really only show you one because one is sewing and I have no way to like hold it up and show you. But I'll show you my knitted project. So first up, let me grab the banner. I have the, you would think I knew where
I will find the banner. You show there. Okay.
So I finished my Heartwarmer Tee by Justina Lorkowska. And I love it. Look at this. It's amazing. So beautiful. I added sleeves to it. And I did the sleeves in a plain stockinette. Oh, that's one of my hairs. That's not a guard hair. And I just love this sweater. It is absolutely beautiful. This lace pattern up at the top is so pretty. And I don't want to brag, but these are some good looking baubles. I'm really happy with these little baubles. They're just the right amount of bauble. You know, sometimes the baubles are too big. They stick out too much. They flop around. Sometimes baubles flatten out like a shawl that I did one time, but these are absolutely perfect baubles. And I am pretty proud of them. This sweater is, it's quite cropped. And I specifically cropped it to go with a pair of pants that I made. So the yarn that I'm using is Sonder yarns, and it is the Sunday Morning 4-ply. which is a fingering weight, and it is 75%. Is it merino? No,
Is it
Shetland.
is it 75 or 7? I thought it was 70/30. No, and it's not merino. It's 70% BFL, 30%
BFL, that's right,
Massam.
and Massam.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew the other part was Massam. So, and the colorway is Free Spirit, and I bought this at Knit City, Montreal last year. So you just know this is coming back to Knit City with me this year as a finished object. I did take a picture of it hanging up on a hanger just so you can see it. Let me go in and grab that and pop it up here for you. There it is. I really like it. The fit is really nice too. It looks even shorter there. So in truth, the sweater is from the very tip of the shoulder to the waist is 18 inches. I also think, despite the fact that I'm fairly tall for a female, being 5'8", which is, it's not super tall, but it's tall enough. I'm pretty short-waisted, so I have long legs. So this sweater is 18 inches from top to bottom, and I did the thing that I always do. I always sew a little button on the back of my sweater so that I know which is the back. Because it's hard to tell sometimes. This one's pretty obvious, but I still want.
Well, if they've got short rows, it's usually easy to tell. But sometimes, because I know you have told me before, I've had a sweater on backwards.
Yeah, you can see the short rows. Your short rows are showing.
Anyway,
so I made this to go with a pair of pants by, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, but they're called pleat pants, and they are kind of like a Thai fisherman style pant where they are a linen loose fitting pant, and they have this sort of pleat that goes across the front on a diagonal down the one leg of the pant. I didn't know how I was going to like the pants, so I made them in a black linen. So I'm going to have a very bright 80s theme going there. I know that, but I'm struggling lately with the sewing bit because, I will take the measurements of my body and then I will coordinate that to the pattern. I know what size I am if I were to go into a store to buy clothing, but it typically ends up being several sizes smaller than a pattern will tell me. So I don't worry about that. I make the size that the pattern tells me to make. And when I made these particular pants, and these are European sized as well, it said, so like based on my waist and my hip, that the pattern that I chose would give me 4 inches of ease around the body of the pants. And I made them, and there was a lot more than 4 inches. And I measured correctly, and I put the right seam allowances in. So I'm not sure how they ended up coming out large. They didn't look that bad, but I think they would have looked better if they were just slightly more fitted. So I put them on the other day. I went out into the garage. I said to Mike, what do you think? Mike is not a fan of the loose pants. So he wasn't a huge fan. So then I came back in, and before I finalized the waistband, I took 4 inches out of the pants. And then I tried them on again. I have to say the fit is a lot better. So I do like the pants. I like the pleat pant. So that's my my finished critique, because I said that I had report back on how I found them. I haven't hemmed them yet because I ordered some new clogs and I wanted to wait until the clogs come in to do the final hemming. But I am pretty happy with the pants. I will try to get a picture and show them at some point, but they're black linen. It's really hard to show the little, like the diagonal,
the details,
the details with the black linen. But for some of you out there that I know are doing some sewing, I like them. I think they look good. So, okay.
Good.
And you?
I finished another Friday tee, and I finished it on Thursday.
Well, that's just wrong.
I finished the Friday tee on Thursday and delivered it on Friday. So here is the Friday tee that I finished. This is a pattern by Petite Knit. This is the third adult one that I did for samples for Leo and Roxy. So this one is done in their neon colors. So this is pink flamenco. The orange is orange crush. And then the tealy color is the Barbie girl. And I took it down, and it was for Jillian, and she tried it on, and it fit her perfectly. It looked amazing, and like she looked really good in it. And I would never in a million years have thought of putting those colors together, and I can't take credit for it because I didn't pick them. And I think it looks amazing. I think the colors look phenomenal. It was so much fun to knit. It just took one hank of each of the 3 colors, and that is done in their Leo and Roxy basics. But they've now taken their basics yarn that comes in the not quite white and overdyed it with the neon colors. So it really is bright, and it just looks like, I just think it looks amazing. Like I would definitely wear one. So, but
I have that song rolling through my head that says, I'm a Barbie girl. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world.
So
I'll have to play that for Jillian when we see her.
Yep. Yes. And Sarah says Jillian does love it, and she looks amazing in it. She really does. So, and Jillian's so nice and tall, and just anyway, it looks really good on her. So hopefully at some point in Montreal they'll have those on in their booth, because there was samples for all of them. But I told Jolynn hers is just done in the raspberry ripple and navy wool. It looks boring now.
No. I was thinking how nice this color, this raspberry, would look with a pair of navy pants or a navy dress. It would be really, really pretty. It's just, and that the raspberry color that you have is kind of quite similar to this too. So,
it
smells nice.
Yeah. So that's all that I have for finishes.
There's one thing I forgot to say about the sweater.
Okay.
So when we were in Montreal, I bought 3 skeins of this because I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. And then once I got knitting, so I knit the yoke, and then I knit the sleeves after I separated, because I knew that I couldn't finish the sweater until I had the pants done, because I wanted to measure the height of the waist of the pants. So I thought, it looks like I'm going to be really close to getting this done in 2 skeins. You know what? I had to wind up my 3rd skein for 3 rows of final ribbing and the cast off. 3 rows. I was that close. I mean, I could have somewhere saved enough, I think, but that's okay. So now your task, Noelle, when we go back to Montreal is we have to go back to Sonder Yarns. Now I definitely have to find 2 skeins of something, a different color, to go with my 1 skein of Free Spirit. And we'll have to think about a fingering weight sweater that's got some color in it, because the yarn is too beautiful to sit nearly full. And it's the kind of yarn that I feel it really needs to be, for me to appreciate that yarn, it needs to be in a sweater. And so I'm on the hunt for 2 other colors, or for 1 other color, 2 skeins. And then I'll find something that I'm going to definitely get more of that yarn used up.
Yep. So.
Okay. I was just trying to catch up on the questions. There's a question that's popping around in that thread, and we strive to be non-controversial, but I just think let's just have a chat about it. And I'm not sure who started the questions, but somebody asked if they were to go to a knit night at a yarn store, should they only be knitting with that yarn store's yarn? I have some varying opinions on that. Understandably, if a knit store is hosting a knit night, then they want you to come in, spend some time with them, but they obviously want you to have a look at what they have to offer as well. I don't know if I would go to the point of being exclusionary about it. If it were my store, I certainly wouldn't. I would just be happy to have a group of people coming to knit, because I think even if they weren't knitting with your yarn, there's a really good opportunity that they're still going to leave with some of your yarn by the time they leave. And I would be...
Well, I think there's a difference between if you go to the same knit night all the time and you never ever buy anything at that shop, than if you're just knitting something else, but you do frequent and buy from that shop. I don't think it should necessarily then be that you should exclusively have to knit with at that time with their yarn, but each yarn shop can make up its own rules. We don't make the rules. So
no, we don't.
Like,
we don't.
you know, some yarn shops, it's okay. Some yarn shops want you to exclusively knit with theirs. So I guess it doesn't really matter what our views are. And I think mine's the same as Kelly. Like, I think you should be like a customer of that shop, but you don't necessarily need to be knitting with yarn from that shop. And yeah, like it should be just like, you know, open to all. And you're right. Even if you go in there and you're not knitting with that, most likely you're going to see things that people are, you're going to see things that are in the store. But again, each yarn store has different rules or recommendations around that.
Yes. Yeah,
So.
Absolutely. So it does make me a little sad though when I see some of those comments happening, because I see some of the people in here said that they were kind of felt that they had been singled out and told, you know.
Well, I don't think that. I mean, I definitely don't think that should happen.
No, I don't think so either. So I, what we can say is here in the KnitChat Cafe, every single one of you are welcome. You can knit on whatever you like. You don't have to knit if you don't want to. You can work. You can do whatever you like here in the KnitChat Cafe, and you are nothing but welcome. So that's what we have to say on that topic. Yeah. And I guess too, like I guess the last thing I'm going to say on it is, because both of us do a little bit of traveling, I am not opposed to whenever I'm in a town, I will find that knit store. Yep. I would hunt down that knit night and I'm going to go. So there's a very good possibility that I may not be working on something that knit store has. There's also a very good possibility that I'm going to leave that knit store with something else. And so in my experience, that has not happened to me. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I have been nothing but welcomed in every single store that I have visited, anywhere that I have traveled. So maybe you've just sort of hit, I don't know, a unique store, because definitely I do go to a lot of knit nights and I join in, and I just find people are very friendly.
That's right. And you would think as a knitting store, you would want to encourage that, like people from like out of town coming in, because you're right. Most likely you're going to leave with something, even if you're not knitting with something that's from their store. Someone in here said though that whatever store they go to charges a fee if you're not knitting with their yarn.
Oh, okay. We also don't know the details. Maybe they're serving snacks. Maybe there's wine. I've been in a yarn store where there was wine, so maybe they want to make sure that they're serving wine to customers.
I'd pay for wine.
I'd pay for a glass of wine though. Yes. Yes. And
anyway,
I just saw Deb's in here working on a quilt. See, Deb's not a knitter.
That's right.
Deb is welcome.
And you and I aren't working on anything.
We're not working on anything. We're just taking up space, taking up a chair.
Okay. So we should move on here.
Yes. We should.
Do you have any works in progress?
I do. I absolutely do. How many do you have? I only have one.
I have 3.
Okay, you start then.
Okay, I'll start first. First, I'll just show you. I've only got a little bit more done on my sock, but what I did want to show you with these was I talked about the Leo and Roxy basics, and that now that they're dyeing their basics and over dyeing some of it. So this is pink. I'm not sure if they call this pink flamenco, but this is the marled sock dyed. And then this is the mini that goes with it. Now this, they don't call pink flamenco, but this is the Leo and Roxy basics in classic gray over dyed with the pink flamenco. So that's what it looks like when they dye it over the gray. This is the little bit that I had left from the tee. And this is over dyed on the white. And you can see the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one on the white is much more vibrant. And then this one is kind of more subdued. So if you really didn't want something this bright, then there are some of the versions that they're dyeing on the gray that are just a little bit more toned down, a little bit more subdued.
Very nice.
So, and I will get those. I have to finish those by Montreal, but they could be train knitting. I only have to have one sock done.
That's right. Okay. Just hold up before you go to the next thing. I just wanted to show this comment from Judy. She said that she had a fun experience at a busy knit shop in Florida. She was waiting to pay for her yarn and she was helping someone with a question. And the person that she helped told the owner that she would pay for her purchase. Now,
Oh,
see,
that's really
those
nice.
are the knitty friends we are talking
That's
about.
right. That's right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So thanks for sharing that, Judy.
Okay, and Pat asked if I have a project page for the neon colored. I do, Pat, and I do show notes for all of these. So the show notes will go up. They will go up. It's usually 24 hours after because my daughter puts them up for me. I have to do them and she works all day. So she puts them up after she's done work tomorrow, but they will be there. And anything that we talk about is all linked in the show notes. Okay. What are you working on?
One second. I'm just checking a comment here. Sorry. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. So, I felt left out of Sparkle Land, and we can't have that. I mean, Marianne's knitting with sparkle, Noelle's knitting with sparkle, Julia knit with sparkle. I can't just be hanging out in no Sparkle Land. So, as you know, I have been debating this huge issue, which sweater to make. I have a vision. And thank you all for your kind suggestions and your alternative choices. But I have a vision and I want it to work in my head. So I decided to make the V-back tee DK. I did put a banner in there. Maybe, I'll actually show a picture of it first. So this is the back of the sweater, but it's an interchangeable sweater. So you can flip it around and you could wear that V in the front. So the idea behind mine is that I'm making a solid colored sweater. I'm not using 3 different colors, but that sort of middle V in that pattern, I want that to be including a sparkle yarn, a sequined sparkle yarn, just so it's going to be a very, very subtle sparkle, not as, sparkly. So things that I'm using to make this is living in my little threaded maple bag that Noelle gave me. This is turning into my new favorite little bag because it sits beside me on the couch and it's like a perfect yarn bowl.
Yeah. Yep.
Look at the pretty stuff in there. So I am using this is the Knit Picks Alpaca Soft. No, something else. Alpaca Lace.
Alpaca Cloud.
Alpaca Cloud. Soft as a cloud. Thank you. And I know that the colorway is Oscar. And a viewer reached out to me when I was lamenting the fact that Holst has this gorgeous color Slow, one of our favorite colors, and they do not make a companion color to go with it. So she reached out and told me that Oscar is a really good match. And she's not wrong. It is a really good match. So, and then I have the King Cole Cosmos in, don't remember, is it Lunar?
I know, I can't remember the names of them.
Ball band is upstairs, sorry. It might be, because it's night. It's dark. Anyway, so it's sparkly and sequined in these like really rich jewel tone sequins. There's the, can't do this. Need another hand. There we go. That's what we have going on, friends. So I have started the sweater. Don't know if this is going to work out. This is a full out experiment, but here's what I have done. So I just started last night into the sparkles. I'm hooked. I'm absolutely hooked. So what do I have done so far? Just a minute. Sorry. There's not a lot done to show. So I have the beginning of the V, right? And this is not showing very well, but I'll just show you a few rows of the, okay. Now it's wrapped around my watch. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Look at that. Just the little bits of sparkle. So it is very subtle. It's real, and it's hard for us to show the sparkle on camera. I know that.
It just doesn't, like when it's in the sunlight, it just like glows. Because
you were showing off your sweater under the bridge and it was like absolutely radiant.
Blinding.
Yeah. Yes. Dare we say blinding? I didn't want to say that, but it was very, very bright. And when I look at this, like under my normal lights, it's definitely sparkly. I can see the sequins and I can see
I can see them. I can see them.
But it's a much less on camera, but the color is really pretty and I am enjoying it. I did go down a needle size from the suggested needle size because The pattern suggested to knit that on a 5. I did a swatch on a 5. I felt for me the garment was the fabric
Loose.
of the garment was too loose. It's not what I liked. So I dropped down to a 4.5 because I had swatched on a 4 as well. And to me, that was the perfect fabric, but that's too far of a reach. So I went up. It's not up a full size. The size that was closest for me was still going to finish an inch or two too big. So I dropped the needle size down, and I think that will accommodate what I need. We'll see. So that's the fabric that I'm getting now, which I'm okay with. The neckband maybe seems a little bit loose, but it's also not supposed to be a tight fitting neckband. So
it's gonna bloom when you block it too, because it's
and it will for sure because it's a super soft. Yes. So but that's what I'm working on. Look at that. Look at that. There, you can get the little more glitter there.
Yeah, you can see it. Yep.
Like I said, I only have 4 rows in, so I'm looking forward to putting in some knit time on that tonight and seeing how that sparkle row develops. I also want to have this finished for Montreal next week.
I honestly can say I am absolutely sparkle obsessed right now.
As you get.
So here's,
Obsessed.
So here's my.
And see, even there, it's not nearly as sparkly as it was.
But look at this button. Where is it?
You found the ball. Oh, you wanted a disco ball buttons. Yes.
Well, it's not a disco ball. Okay, so this is the Felix cardigan by Amy Christophers. And I am doing this one in Leo and Roxy 80/20 sock, Leo and Roxy silk mohair, and the King Cole. It's the sparkle on the gray with all the colors. I'm not sure if it's called Stardust or Moon Dust or something like that. So anyway, I just have one more sleeve to go. I did decide to go with long sleeve because I figure I could push them up and I had enough yarn to do it. But I really like the length of the cardi. And I did put buttonholes all the way down, but I think I like it just with the one really big button just at the top.
Let's be fair.
And then it'll be,
you're never going to button that. You will never button that thing all the way up. Absolutely.
No. So yeah, so I love it. I mean, and I loved working with it. And the only thing I don't like is the fact that I was alternating skeins. I didn't alternate the mohair and the sparkle, but just the 80/20. So it was kind of like, I'm passing yarns back and forth across me while I'm working on it.
Yes.
This I did on a 5mm. The original pattern is a 6, and the original pattern is like a 14 stitch gauge. This is 16 because I didn't want it quite as loose. So all I did was go up a size, worked out what the finished measurement would be, and this size is working out perfectly. And it is cropped, and it's funny because you're talking about cropped for you like at 18. Like this is only 17 is cropped for me. So, and yet I'm a whole lot shorter than you are.
Just a bit.
but I must be longer to my waist.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. My legs are proportionately longer than my waist. I am pretty short-waisted, so yeah, it is beautiful.
This is actually a really nice pattern. It's got just a little bit of this lace detail in your raglan, and that's how you create the increases for your raglan. And they're also in the back, and then the rest of it is just like stocking stitch. It is, I can't remember if the pattern called for twisted rib, but I like twisted rib. And then the only thing I did is when I cast on and when I bound off, I left the sparkle out of the cast on and the bind off. Especially when you're doing a sewn bind off, it makes it a lot easier not to have the sparkle in there when you're weaving it through, doing the Kitchener stitch to get it off.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so really happy with that. That I'll probably have that done tomorrow because this sleeve knits up in no time. So
I will admit, just from the 4 rows that I've knit so far with it, for instance, like when you're holding 2 other yarns together, like we'll just use a mohair for an example. It kind of grabs the other yarn that you're working with, so that when you're, because I tension around my pinky finger and then over this finger. So it just really feels like I'm knitting with one yarn. I will admit that when I'm knitting with the sparkle yarn or the sequin yarn, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't bind itself in any way to the yarn. Or maybe you didn't have that experience, but with the super soft, which is not a clingy yarn until it's bloomed anyway. And the alpaca cloud is very, very thin. It's a lace weight. So I'm often finding that as it's going through my finger, I can still feel that sequined yarn sitting off somewhere by itself on my hand. So I do have to occasionally just drop my hand out, retension, and get everything back on track. But I think
with the mohair, I don't find that. I actually found by the time I got to the end of the row and I was switching out to my other color, I had to untangle them.
Okay, but see,
But
then
then
again, if that's mohair,
yes, that's right. The mohair's got a lot more fiber to catch the other yarn.
So now you've got me thinking, because I bought the here it is. I have the Cosmos, and you have this one as well, but we also have it in gold.
Gold, yep.
And mama, that's glittery. So now I'm
glittery.
thinking, what the heck do I want to put this with? I definitely want to try something with mohair. I think I want to try a cardigan too, because I feel like I'd get lots of wear out of a cardigan.
Yep.
Cardigans are missing from my wardrobe. Definitely.
Well, like I think in this one, like with all the flecks of color in there, there's going to be a lot of things that I can wear that with.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking with the mohair and stuff in there, but it being a cardigan, it's not going to be as hot as having a whole closed in sweater. So like, I mean, I could definitely, okay, again, I apologize for this because this yarn is not this bright, but this is some of the leftover buttercup that I have. It's nowhere near that bright. That looks hideous together on camera. Right here, it looks pretty good to me. So something like that would look really nice with this. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to look for something to go with this in Montreal. But I am enjoying the experience. Me too. So I'm into my second sparkle. Now this one you can see.
Yes, that's gorgeous.
So this is the Lento. I do have a banner for just the Lento here.
I'll look.
Okay, so this is the Lento by Jonna. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Hitala? Sorry.
Anyways, I went to drop off the Friday tea at Little Red Mitten last Friday. And I did not go intending to get any yarn. I didn't.
You never do. You never do.
I didn't. But then I just saw they have the sparkle that they have there is the Lang paillettes, and it is really sparkly. Like it's, if you look at, I'm going to try and pull a strand of it out and show you here, but it has got. You probably
have to put your hand behind it. And then cover your face. The camera, there you go. No, but the camera will track your face. Well, okay. I could have, except it slid off your hand.
Oh, did it? There.
Okay, now cover your face.
Anyways,
again.
It's got sequins like about every half inch. Forget it. It's got sequins about every half inch, but they're little sequins. But like, look at that. It's just.
And these ones are definitely farther apart. They're about every 4 inches.
Yes. And this is not, the thread that this is on is not metallic. It's more just like a thread.
Yes.
And then my base colors, it is the Leo and Roxy natural sock, and it's their 80/20 mohair. So the natural sock is in the Vixen colorway. The mohair is in the ominous colorway. So I'm going to be a sparkly ominous Vixen.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
So the sparkle again is called Lang. It's Lang paillettes. And it comes in, this color is like a black with multicolored sequins on it, but they've got it in like a peacock color, a pale green color. There's like a champagne color. There's a gold color. And the thread pretty much matches the color of the sequins, other than in the black. And I think this color was called dark rainbow. And it's gorgeous. Now these sequins are quite a bit more expensive. Mm-hmm. And there's not as much, well, I think not so much that they're that much more expensive, but you only get in like one ball, there's only like 122 yards. But I think you get the weight of it because of all the sequins, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's still a 25-gram ball, but because there's so many sequins in it, you get.
Right.
You don't get as much yardage.
The Cosmos is a 25-gram ball as well, but there are, I thought I just saw it.
I think it's 495.
Yes, 429 yards.
Okay. Okay. So this one I'm going to do, I think cropped. I'm not sure. I'll try it on as I go along. Again, my gauge is a little bit different, but I knew that going in. I think the Lento calls for a 15 stitch gauge, and I think this is about a 16 and a half. So all I did was go up a size. I divided the circumference, the bust circumference by my gauge, and know that I'm getting the size that I want with this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm absolutely in love with it. I did the neckband different. The pattern called for a fold over neckband, which I thought would be way too much in this with the 3 yarns held together. So what I did was I just did 3 rows of stocking stitch to get that little roll. And then I did knit 1 purl 1 twisted rib for the neck. I think I'm going to finish off the bottom the same way. I think that's the same finish that's on the Miserina with that little bit of rolled neck at the top.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going to do to finish that. So
And
I'm hoping to get
what sleeve length are you aiming for?
I think I might just do 3/4.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the pattern is. I don't know yet. I'll try it on as I go, but I just love it.
It's beautiful. It's absolutely
the
beautiful.
Sparkle is just okay. I am alternating. So I've got 2 bags here. So in one of them, I've got one ball of sparkle, 1 ball of the sock, and 1 ball of the mohair, and the same in the other. So I just keep my bags separate. Obviously, it's not a project I'm taking to the coffee shop. It sits on the couch, and I just have to move the bag around. So, but it's working up. It's working up really nicely. So I want to have that done, and the silver. Well, the gray one will be done tomorrow. I want to have that one done, and I want to do another one
for before next Thursday.
Yes, just a minute. I dropped my ball of yarn. I told you, go all in.
Deidre is asking how many balls do you think you'll use for that cardigan?
For the cardigan, I just have 2 balls of the 80/20 sock and 2 of the mohair and 2 of the king cole, but I'll have some of that left.
Right.
And then same so that I won't use more than that for the Lento either.
No, and you'll definitely have some left because that's what I used even to do my Cozy Classic raglan, and even using full length sleeves, I still had yarn left over. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my next one that's going to be done is going to be these and this.
Oh, that's so pretty.
So I'm going to do a ranunculus.
Short sleeves?
Yeah.
Oh, you can get that done.
Exactly. So this is Leo and Roxy. Again, this is their 80/20 sock. This is the Kinder Flamingo colorway. This is the same in the mohair, the Kinder Flamingo colorway. And then this is the sparkle that I got from the Knitting Loft, and it's by Ella Ray. It's called Sequinicity, and that is called Flamingo.
So pretty. Meant to be.
So
meant to be.
It is. But I think I can get that done.
I think so.
I think I can get and I think I'll be able to get a ranunculus out of like just one of each.
Probably. Yeah.
I have in the past, and it's even a little longer. So for sure doing a more cropped one, I'll be able to get that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I'm excited. I just want to cast this on too, but I got to finish some first.
Jan was asking what Ross will think of your new sweater title, the or Sparkly Ominous Vixen.
Oh, he'll be all in.
He'll be all in.
My kids are probably going like this to their ears right now, though. Anyway, so that'll give me, if I get that done, I'll have a sparkle sweater for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And I'll be lucky to get my one done. But I'm putting in a serious concentrated effort to get that done. So I have to put in some knit time tonight for sure. Yeah, we are all about the sparkle right now. We we can't help it. And Julia's going to be there, and she'll be glittery. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay,
so we're on a roll.
Speaking of sparkle, I just want to show one more thing. This isn't, I didn't start this, I didn't do it, but I just thought, we're looking at some of the different sparkles, and especially some of the ones that are a little bit more expensive. There's ways that you can use them in sweaters. Well, like for instance, you're just going to use like one to do like a V in it. So this sweater is a recent sweater that just came out. So this is the Misty Jumper.
Oh, that's cute.
Where is it here? It's the Misty Jumper by Eileen.
Irene
Misty
Lynn.
Jumper by Irene Lynn. So you could do it and see that part up at the top that's got the mohair. You could just hold the mohair with sparkle.
Yep.
And then just use a coordinating yarn for the rest of it, and with no sparkle in it, and you just have that kind of little collar of sparkle around your neck.
Absolutely. I like that.
And I think that would look really good. And it would be, I think you could get that with like one ball of the one with all the with lots of sparkle in it. But then with the rest of your sweater just being plain, it would really make the yoke of that sweater stand out.
Absolutely. That's gorgeous. I like that.
So yeah, I really like that. I think it was relatively new out, but I thought, I'm trying to think of all these things now that I got all the sparkle. I gotta make all these sweaters.
I can see that even as a short sleeve too, so that you can get a little bit of a. Yeah, Bruna is saying that she has that pattern sleeve too. Yeah, it's just beautiful, really beautiful.
Like, can you see that like in a navy, and then with like a navy mohair and your navy sparkle up at the top?
Yeah, I can.
Like that would look amazing. So.
And that's a way to really stretch out like one ball of sparkle. The reason
and you may not want an all over sparkly, right?
No, that's right. Yeah, some people may call that a little blingy. Not us.
Not me.
But the reason I am trying to stretch out one ball is because when I put in my order to Wool Warehouse, one ball is all they had. And I thought, gosh, what can I do? And I even had somebody reach out to me. I think it was Jeanette actually reached out and said that she had something similar and she'd be willing to gift it to me. And I so appreciate the offer. But like I said, I had this vision. I want to do something in a chevron with one sparkle. It could be a total flop, but I may still reach out to her if I can't get what I want. But anyway, exactly, Deidre. A little sparkle goes a long way. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just think go big or go home. No, I think that actually looking at it in the ball, like when you hold that, especially that gold one up, it looks like so much more than when you actually put it in a sweater.
Yeah. Dare I say that looks
garish.
Garish. Yeah. There are other horrible words that come to my mind to describe that. But when you're just pulling it in with something, it's a very subtle look, and it's so pretty.
Like even this one, like well, I mean, I know you see more sparkle when you're out in the light, but it's not a sequin. It's not an all over sequin sweater.
No, it's really not. It's really not.
No.
It's so pretty. So, Lynn says that she bets your granddaughters will want sparkles. Oh, they already
do. They already do.
Absolutely, they do.
Zoe wants purple sparkles.
Purple sparkles. Yeah, for sure.
So
did you order up anything else this week?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I did
Neither
not.
did I.
No.
I'm saving myself for Knit City. It's so close. It's next weekend. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I'm just looking in here to see if there was anything else that we missed, but I don't think so. This picture's in here. Why did you have this picture in here?
I loved it.
Oh.
Okay, that one is the
Joy
Cardi, and it's by Knit Cafe Official. How could I not like it? It's pink. Absolutely. And it's Knit Cafe. That's
pretty. That's really pretty.
I really like that, and I might look for a yarn for that in Montreal. Like I think that yarn is in that sample they used Le Bien-Aimé Felix.
Is it Felix or the Corey Worsted?
In the neon-y colors. No, it's the Felix, but then it's held with Rowan Kid Sulcays.
Ah, you can't even really tell there's...
No.
See,
but I just think that's a gorgeous little cardigan.
It is a gorgeous cardigan, and I probably wouldn't think to do cables with mohair either, because you feel like you're going to lose your stitch definition in that as well. But that still looked beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Yep. Just going back to the sweater that you just cast on too. You said it was sock yarn, which superwash?
Which one?
The last one. No, that's the natural. That's the natural sock. What's the other? The one that you're gonna the pink one? No, the pink one.
It's just the 80/20 sock.
That's right. So this is something that we've chatted about before too, because given that it's a superwash sock yarn, although this is a superwash sock yarn right here, this sweater, but typically I'm okay to do something like this. That's just, a pretty cropped small sweater. But if it's a sweater of some serious substance, I would be maybe a little cautious to try to do that with a sock yarn, just because sometimes we know that the superwash yarns will continue to
Will
grow
stretch.
and the sweater will stretch out. But since you're holding that with a mohair, that's
And
the
the
great
sequin.
stabilizer, and a sequin, a
Yeah.
double stabilizer. That's
Yeah.
not going to expand at all. So that's a little trick that you can use, because traditionally we know that the sock yarns can be a little less expensive. And then you compare that with a beautiful mohair and you get a very luxurious looking sweater that will be stabilized for you due to the mohair. So that's something to keep in mind too when you're, and especially if there's something that you have in stash and you're thinking, oh, I could use this, but I've heard people have problems using superwash in a sweater. That's something to be mindful of. Pair it with something that will stabilize it.
Yeah.
So
So
okay. Petra is asking, just before we wrap up here, Petra's asking, has anybody ever shrunk a sweater in the dryer, made a vest for dad, and it's way too big? Yes, I have shrunk a couple of my sweaters purposely in the dryer, short increments in the dryer, and just keep pulling it out to check. I would do about 5 minutes at a time, and I'd pull the sweater out to check. I was pretty scared the first few minutes. I was like 1 minute, pull it out, 1 minute, pull it out. And then I got braver and I was doing 5 minutes. But you do have to be cautious too, because it may not shrink. Somebody else is pointing this out too. And it may not shrink everywhere the same. So depending on the yarn, it may shrink more in the length when actually what you wanted was the sweater to be narrower. So then you could end up with something that's still wide, but too short. So you just have to be really cautious and try it on small increments.
Yeah.
So. Okay. What else do we have?
Well, we should probably talk about our knit-alongs.
Okay.
So we've got 3 knit-alongs going on at the moment. The first one is our sock knit-along that goes for the whole year. And it started January 1st. We draw prizes at the end of every month. We draw both a pattern prize and a sock yarn prize. And when we draw the prizes for every month, we go back to the beginning of the year. And then at the end of the year, we do a grand prize and pull from the beginning of the year. So all you have to do for that one is finish socks, put them in the finished object thread on Ravelry. Okay. And if you want to, you can show us your progress using the hashtag KPN Sockalong 2023. Okay. Next one is our Smash That Stash. And for that, you all just have to knit using yarn that you've had in your stash prior to January the 1st, 2023. You need to use at least 50 grams of yarn. You can whips are fine. And that you can use, as long as you use 50 grams of your stash yarn, you can combine it with other yarns. And again, there are both a chatter thread and a finished object thread on Ravelry. We draw at the end of every quarter. And then at the end of the year, we're going to have a grand prize that we're going to draw from all the people that have gotten a finished object into every quarter. Okay, that's that one. And then, do you want to talk about this one, Kelly?
No, you always give me the hard one.
Okay. This is not a hard one. Okay, we also have the Burra Cal. In our case, it's a Marie Wallen /
Susan Crawford.
Susan Crawford. And all you have to knit is a pattern from Susan Crawford or Marie Wallen. And we've got a finished object thread. There are other podcasts that are joining us in this knit along. There's 3-Ply Podcast, Around the Table Yarns, Dude Knits, Frivolous and Frugal, Got Whips, Magpie's Cottage, Pandemic Knitter, and PJ Knits. They all have maybe a little bit different rules than what we've got. So you'd have to go check out their podcast or their Ravelry groups to see what the rules are there. But you're welcome to double dip, triple dip. And, the same with ours. If you've got a Marie Wallen project that's a pair of socks and you did it with stash yarn, you can put it in all 3. So, yeah. And there'll be a prize for that at the end of the year.
What I will say is if you have a question for us of any kind, it could be knitting or otherwise, we'll do our best to answer it or find somebody that knows an answer. And you can reach out to us. The easiest place to reach out to us is at our Gmail account, which is knitsandpiecespodcast@gmail.com. So I'll leave that there for a minute. And I wanted to go back in. There was a comment here. Christine wants to know, what are your recommendations for someone going to Knit City, Montreal for the first time? Don't be shy. That's my number one recommendation. Don't be shy. I don't know if you're going to be there by yourself or with friends, but just don't be shy. Everybody is friendly. And I always have the mindset that I'm going to kind of do a tour through the marketplace first and see what I want.
Never happens. Never
happens. Never happens. And then go back. But yeah, absolutely enjoy. Just really enjoy.
We'll be the ones in the sparkly sweaters.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're lost, you see people are sparkling, we can try to point you in a direction. It was just a great experience. We had so much fun last year. I mean, we had so much fun last year that we're going back again this year.
We have fun everywhere we go. That's a knitting thing.
Well, we do. We do. Absolutely. Absolutely. We do. So Barb says, oh, there's my yawn. It must be time. Barb is saying wear comfy shoes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And Barb says do a tour around looking at the possibilities, see what's there, and then go back. There is a map. There's an online map. Thank you, Barb, for reminding us. There is, and you can print that out. But yeah, just have a great time and just, ogle the sweaters. Everybody will be wearing beautiful sweaters, beautiful shawls, knitwear. It's very inspiring to see people that have put so much into their craft and to meet the dyers and talk to them. And there are some other products there as well. Like it's fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. So on that note, we're going to finish with this.
Cast on and sparkle on. Yes, absolutely. Friends. Thank you, Marianne. Yes.
So we should do a sparkle. Maybe we'll do that like getting close to Christmas.
Something sparkly for sure. It can be a hat. It doesn't have to be a whole sweater.
We can do keep calm and sparkle on.
Keep calm and sparkle on. There we go. Thank you, Marianne. Yeah, you've created a monster. So, all right.
Okay, so take care, everybody. We will see you next week. We've got one more week before we go to Knit City, Montreal.
Yes.
So cast on and sparkle on, friends.
Yes. And if you had fun in here tonight, a few people have reminded you throughout the podcast, but if you had fun in here tonight, please give a thumbs up after the show. It really helps the channel. And Bruna, yes, the train ride is exciting too. Send us a message on Gmail.
Yeah,
let us know what train you're on.
So,
and we'll see if we're on the same train. That would be super fun too.
So.
And Barb is asking us to come to Knit City, Vancouver next year. It's in the works, Barb. Yes, absolutely. We had already said that we'll probably take a break from Montreal next year and maybe we'll do Vancouver. I've been to Knit City, Vancouver. Noelle has not. So I think that would be a lot of fun. And we're pretty lucky because we can just stay at my daughter's. So, okay.
Okay. Take care, everybody. Yeah. And someone just, Bridget, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And we will see you next week.
We will for sure. I've lost my place here. I need to get us out of here. Okay, there we go.
Okay,
thanks so much.
Keep sparkling.